This is the story of Albert Sydney Hornby, or Ash as he was known to his friends, and how his passion for English words and phrases would lead him to create something that would change the lives of millions of English learners around the world. That something was the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. For over 70 years, it has provided learners with accessible definitions of English words, reflecting current usage and meaning. The story begins with a young man with a passion for exploration. The year was 1924, and Albert Sydney Hornby, fresh from exploring the world whilst serving in the Royal Navy, had some big news for his parents. He told them he was getting married, and he was leaving with his bride for a new life in Japan. Bags were packed, gangplanks climbed, and off they sailed for the island of Kyushu. Working as an English language teacher at the Oita Higher Commercial School, Ash discovered that although his students could understand and appreciate English literature, they found speaking and writing in English difficult.
Well, I was rather surprised when I first met my students because I had been asked to come to Japan to teach English literature. And when I got to the college, I found my students were reading Thackeray and Shakespeare and apparently with great understanding. But to my dismay, they couldn't speak English very well. They could read, but they couldn't speak.
Ash began teaching using examples of real and current English torn from the pages of fashionable English magazines. Having developed a keen sense of the needs of his learners, Ash joined the Institute for Research in English Teaching, where the work of Ash and his fellow colleagues at the Institute convinced them that the dictionaries available to their students weren't suitable. Ash became obsessed with collecting ordinary English words and phrases as he heard and saw them, writing his notes on envelopes, postcards and scraps of paper. For years, the notes remained stored in many boxes. Then in 1938, Ash finally began compiling his notes, transforming them into the Idiomatic and Syntactic English Dictionary, later known as A Learner's Dictionary of Current English, published by Oxford. Ash's aim was to explain the words in his dictionary the way he would explain them in the classroom, so that they were easy to understand. His philosophy was to keep it simple. He didn't use difficult words in his definitions, as dictionaries for native speakers did. And this principle is continued in the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary today. A year later, at the sweltering offices of Oxford University Press in Mumbai, then known as Bombay, 4 little books arrived from an unknown Japanese publisher, Kaitakusha. Just as the books were about to be set aside, an advertisement on the back cover of one caught an editor's attention. The advertisement was for Hornby's dictionary. Samples were requested immediately. But this was 1940, and the world was now at war. Ash tried to send a copy of his dictionary to Oxford University Press headquarters in London, but with the raging war, getting 1,500 pages sent safely from Japan to England was risky. Ash made 2 attempts. The first set of dictionary pages was sent via the director of the British Library of Information and Culture in Tokyo, and the second was sent by post to London, hoping that it would escape bombs and torpedoes. Neither made it to England, disappearing without a trace. This left Ash with one last set of pages that he kept with him despite the trials that would lie ahead. After the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor in 1941, Ash was held first in a temple and then a German Jesuit monastery until he could be exchanged, along with British diplomats, for Japanese prisoners of war. Leaving behind his treasured library of books, in 1942, he boarded the last Swiss Red Cross ship of prisoners leaving Japan for England. Instructed to only bring clothes along with him, Ash was forced to smuggle the dictionary pages in a diplomatic bag, enabling him to bring the dictionary safely to the UK. Meanwhile, back in Japan, the Japanese publisher Kaitakusha was also eager to print the dictionary, but the war had left metal in short supply. With only enough metal to print 100 pages at a time, the Japanese typesetters had to melt down and recast the metal printing plates for each set of 100 pages. As if that wasn't difficult enough, the typesetters, who checked over 1 million words, did not know a single word of English. Publishing the dictionary in Britain was no easier. Paper in wartime was in short supply. In order to print the first learner's dictionary of current English, Oxford University Press needed enough paper for 30 million pages, and to do this, had to cancel print runs of Shakespeare, the Concise Oxford Dictionary, and even the Bible. But despite these efforts, Oxford's paper supplies were impounded, and the first edition could not be printed in Britain until 1948. Ash's dictionary was worth the trouble. It went on to become one of Oxford's biggest selling titles, and today it continues to help millions of learners around the world learn English. Yet despite the dictionary's success, Ash still saw himself primarily as an English language teacher. After the war, his voice became well known to millions through his BBC radio show called English by Radio, which became widely known as Hornby by Radio. Ash was lucky, he said so himself. During his lifetime, he was slightly bewildered by what seemed to him an excessive income from the sales of the dictionary, which he felt he didn't quite deserve. So in 1961, Ash set up the generous arrangement where over half of his royalty income was given to improve the teaching and learning of English, in his own words, to have the money used for education, so that it would go back to the countries from which it comes. A percentage of the money you spend buying your Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary goes to the A.S. Hornby Educational Trust, which supports the teaching of English to speakers of other languages. It does this primarily by awarding scholarships through the British Council to English language teachers from developing and transitional countries.
Hornby scholarships, it means a lot to me, and I'm really grateful for this wonderful opportunity given to me by Hornby.
Over 100 million learners have used the Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, and today the dictionary holds true to Hornby's vision to help learners understand the meaning of a word and how to use it through clear explanations, example sentences, and help with pronunciation. Albert Sydney Hornby was the man who made dictionaries.